Hey gang, long time no see. Today I've got a 2011 GMC in here with low oil pressure readings. I'm going to show you guys how to pull the sensor back here off the back side of the engine block behind the intake, and then we're going to hook a gauge up and take a real reading. Now it's a real common problem for these to have an issue with the screen just below the oil pressure sending unit, so we've got a new one here and we're going to check that as we go. So stay tuned. All right, gang. The oil pressure sending unit itself is way back here. You can just see possibly the blue part of the connector there. That black piece you see is actually the connector. Hopefully I can get some better lighting. That's a little bit better. Going to be hard to get video of all of this. You can see right here we've got this cover in the way, and that round section that's in the cover right there has the hose for the vacuum assist for the brake booster. So I don't know if I'll be able to get that off and videotape it at the same time, but we're going to try and give it a go. Let's see what happens. So guys, this is basically unfilmable to try and get both of my hands in here to show you guys what's going on. But I do have the connector, you can see there, is out. You have to pull this gray tab back right here. Right now it's already pulled back. Once the tab gets pulled back to where it's at, you can then push down on the tab, the black part of the tab right here where the end of that pick's at, and that will let you pull the connector off. So because my hands were in there so tight, I've already pulled the sending unit out. And in doing so, I used a sending unit socket. So this is 1 1/16 inch socket. Gets right in there, gets the job done. 6-inch extension and a swivel-headed ratchet. It's pretty much the only way to get in there and get that done. Here is our sending unit. And here is the customer supplied screen that we're going to be replacing with the screen that's in there. So right now I do not have the screen out yet. I've got to go fishing. So I've got my long handled pick set here, and I would love to be able to show you guys this, but in order for me to get in there, you can't see what's going on. So I'm gonna go fishing with the picks and let's see what we find. Well, gang, here is our screen. You can tell it's got some pretty nasty stuff on it. Doesn't look horribly bad. I would still think that it might be getting some pressure. Now, this guy did say his problem was intermittent, and you can tell by looking at it, if the camera would focus a little bit better, I guess the better the focus, it doesn't really matter. You can tell by what we've got going on here that those lower screens on the bottom side of that O-ring furthest away from my fingers are definitely coated in a bunch of junk. So I'm going to toss in this new screen. I'm going to throw a wet gauge on this and check his oil pressure and go from there. Alright, gang, going to make my best attempt here to show you where the sending unit goes. That is the back of the intake, and you can fish your hand around back here and get to it. So you've seen we just did our pressure test. We had 40 psi on idle, or at idle I guess I should say. I'm happy with that. So that's pretty normal for these trucks. Sending unit is in. I'm going to throw the wrench on it, tighten it up, and we're going to get it plugged back in. Now that I got the sending unit in and tightened up, I'm going to see if I can show you guys how this connector works. You can see, or maybe you can't see, there is a tab here that needs to line up on the connector. You look at the connector, you can see the shape of it. It's got a recessed area out of it to slide with a tab on the back side. There we go, we are locked in. I'm going to push this gray clip down. It moves I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. Not a lot. That's your CPA, connector positive assurance, to make sure that that does not become unplugged. Now keep in mind, gang, when you go to fire this thing up, make sure you put your brake booster hose back on, because if you don't, it's going to misfire and buck and chug and stall, and you're going to think you did something wrong. Trust me, I've been there. All right, last step in this process is to go into this truck and clear out the code that I set by running it with the oil pressure sending unit removed. I'm going to do a quick code scan here, see what we've got. And then I want to go into data display, and I'm going to check and see what my actual oil pressure is compared to what I took on my gauge, just to see how correct that sending unit is. So here we go. We've got a couple engine oil pressure sending unit codes, P0522, P0521. I'm going to exit out and clear those. All right, so to clear the codes, right over here, clear DTC. That'll get us out of there. Click yes up at the top corner. Oh, I do want to mention that you should check for leaks also when you're done. Make sure that oil pressure sending unit sealed up when you put it back in there. So we're going to go to engine data. I can't remember exactly where our oil pressure is at in this data list. Hang with us. So I'm going to go into cylinder deactivation data to pull my oil pressure PID. Oop, I think I passed it already. Whoa, look up at the top. I clicked on the wrong button apparently. I'm in HVAC cooling data. Cylinder deactivation. I think the touch screen might be getting a little worn out on my scan tool. Cylinder deactivation data, we can roll down here now. And here is our oil pressure sending unit, currently reading. So we're in our cylinder deactivation data, reading our oil pressure monitor PID, and I'm going to fire this thing up and see what we've got. So 42, 43 PSI right there. That's the same thing I was reading on my manual wet gauge. And then if we jump back over to the dash here, you can see that it is reading just above 40 PSI. So I already checked the system for leaks. We didn't have any. Hey gang, hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in more automotive videos, feel free to like and subscribe. I would like to know from you guys if you're interested in anything else. I haven't posted any auto videos in a little bit because I've been doing a bunch of landscaping stuff and whatnot, trying to enjoy my summer. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing some of that stuff. Haven't videoed any of it yet. Don't know if I will. I guess if people are interested in seeing it, I'll put it out there for you. Have a great day, guys.